lot to get to in a short amount of time.
Indeed.
It's a good thing that young man stepped on the three-point line. Otherwise, I think we'd still be playing.
Yeah, shout out G, who decided to put it out into the
the kibosh
into the world that overtime was happening, and that play happened, and I wanted to wring his neck like Homer Simpson and Bart Simpson. I'm like, what are you doing? You don't say that. You don't use the overtime phrase when the game's close. Rookies.
Didn't happen.
Oof.
And the Blazers
Also,
survive.
Didn't like the call. It was a let's jump forward 4 feet into a shot and get bailed out of it. But you get what you get.
Defending champs.
Yeah, there was. I mean,
MVP is there.
There was some significant grifting tonight.
There was some grifting, but I don't want to go down that track too much because Deni had 16 free throw attempts. He had more than Shea did.
Yeah.
So there was grifting.
Oh yeah, no,
everywhere.
Again, I didn't say by the Thunder. I said there was some significant grifting.
This is a game where Portland was down 20 points after one quarter, looked lifeless, and you think, oh my God.
Oh, it looked like the snowball.
What is going on with this basketball team? And you just saw Dwight Breathe, who had a great game off the bench, much needed offensive spark. And the Blazers made threes tonight, and they didn't in the first quarter, but boy, they caught up quickly in the second, and they were able to get over the hump in the second half and hold off the Thunder. But it is difficult to beat this team, even this version of the team, where you don't have Caruso, where you don't have Chet, where you don't have Lou Dort. The Blazers still beat a really good basketball team tonight. I don't care if there's an asterisk next to it. Doesn't feel like it. We saw the best team in the NBA tonight, and the Blazers beat them.
Yeah, no, it was, I would say it was a gutty performance, but that would discount the first quarter. The first quarter was some of the most egregious basketball we've seen from this. It was the most egregious basketball we've seen. It was worse than what we saw against the Lakers in the last game. And I was wondering, the question we had during the show was that a one-game aberration? The effort, the intensity, the hustle, the grind, and it was ugly. They at one point in time they had 4 turnovers and 1 made field goal. I want to say it was about 4.5 minutes into the game, and I'm sitting there going, oh, this is going to be one of those games. Because remember, the Trailblazers and Oklahoma City Thunder have had some games recently in the last couple of years. 16 straight losses to the Thunder, and in those games, there have been some absolute thumpings. Some of the worst beatings the NBA has ever seen.
It looked like it was heading that direction.
It very much looked
really
like
quickly.
Especially when Andrew Wiggins starts out 4 of 5 from 3, has 14 points in the first quarter. Meanwhile, the Blazers can only muster 21 points. But
well,
again,
and just real quickly on the first quarter, Shea didn't have a field goal in the first quarter, and the Thunder have 41 points. So it looked like it could have been worse, but Portland able to flip the script.
I mean, I think the thing that we kind of have to talk about from a player performance standpoint is Deni Avdija, who had one of his worst shooting games as a pro in his career, going 1 of 12, that one being a massive quick trigger 3 that he's 0 of 11. To have the huevos, as it were, to take that shot in that moment after going 0 of 11 and just cash out that 3 is just insane. But Deni gets the line 14 times. Absolutely phenomenal.
16.
Sorry, 16. My laptop is not updating because of internet. Let's go to the old cell phone here.
Because internet.
Yeah, internet.
It's added again.
There we go. But he still has an incredibly impactful night. Gets to the free throw line, gets rebounds, gets assists, gets steals. It is one of the best, worst games I've seen from a player in a long time. You could see the dejection on his face. There was one sequence where he had 2 shots at the rim, and he left them both short. And you're just sitting there, he's like, are you kidding me? He comes down the next time down the floor and turns it over, and it's like, oh no. But then you look at the box scores, he's still getting the free throw line. He's still getting rebounds. He's still going.
Well, you know what he's doing? He's doing the thing that all-stars do.
Yes, when you don't have it.
That narrative is getting louder and louder, and you saw Habistro talk about it on the broadcast, and you've talked about it on the show a few times. The numbers that he has in terms of points, rebounds, and assists, that leads to all-star selections. There are not a lot of guys who are doing that and averaging it over the course of 40 to 50 games before an all-star selection comes. And Lamar asked the question, which was a really good one on the broadcast too. He was curious, what do the records of those teams look like when those all-star selections are made? And Tom looked it up, and he said a couple of times, yes, they were below 500, but overwhelmingly, the team record has to be at a certain spot, and you achieve those numbers. And wins like this, signature wins, this is going to be a very national game and result. It's the Thunder. The Thunder lost their first game of the season, and the Blazers did that. That's a huge deal throughout the league. This isn't a local story. This is a national story.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point you made. This is what all-stars do. When you don't have it going, you find a way to contribute. You get to the free throw line, you put pressure on the defense, you get rim pressure, you rebound, you defend, you hustle, you get down, you get nasty. And even if you don't have it going, you find a way to get it going. You get others going, and he didn't stop. There's a lot of the game the Thunder put Case and Wallace because they didn't have Lou Dort on Deni Avdija. And this is something I think you're going to see a lot of the season. If Deni is out there acting as a primary ball handler, and opponents want to keep their big at the rim or one of their bigger forwards or bigger wings at the rim when they go in small ball lineups, well, Deni Avdija is 6'9", 250 pounds, and he's just going to get downhill. And that's what he did. He just put his shoulder into Case and Wallace's chest over and over and over. He picked up a couple charges. I don't care. Put your shoulder down and go. Like you were a truck. Just go run somebody over and see what happens. Because look at the outcome. You get to the free throw line if you put in the effort and do that. Jrue Holiday, Jeremy Grant, it's the same characters over and over and over and over again.
The millennials are at it again.
Those guys are getting it done. Tumani Kamara had an incredible defensive game. I mean, SGA still does what SGA does. There wasn't a play other than in transition or off a back cut where SGA was able to score or generate free throws or a shot without having to work egregiously hard for it.
He was making 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 difficulty shots in that first half. And with SGA, it's just inevitable. He's going to get his points somehow.
It took 26 shots to get those 35 points.
Took a lot to get there. And he wasn't the one down the stretch for Oklahoma City making the shots to keep them in the game. He was missing a lot of shots, so give the Blazers credit defensively. But I want to go to Jrue Holiday because, first of all, the guy knocked down 6 3-pointers.
He had 2 threes tonight that were absolutely insane. little Jrue Holidays.
Well done, visual.
It is the holiday season. But there was one where he caught it into the corner and kind of faded to the baseline and just let it go almost behind the backboard and cashed it out. And I was like, whoa, that was a quick trigger pull.
Low percentage shot.
And then he had another one
he drained it
at the end of the game where, it just found him and he just let it go. And it's funny, Jrue is a slightly above average three-point shooter for his career. But the number of off-platform, non-feet set, leaning, fading, and it's not the Steph Curry, full speed turn and catch. It's just he looks at it, looks at the clock, looks at what he's got available and goes, we're not getting a better shot. Get it up. And he hits it. There's just something about that.
Better me than someone else right now.
It's better for me to take this shot right now than to make the extra pass and have a grenade for somebody else. You actually saw the opposite of that late in the game where Donovan Clingan, he has the ball, and they're saying, shoot it. And he goes, I don't want this. And he hands it off, gets the offensive foul, and then the shot clock violation would have come out of it anyway. But that's the difference. That's Jrue has that understanding, that knowledge, that veteran savvy to make that play. But the Blazers won this game tonight playing with their identity a bit, but the Thunder were incredibly good at not turning the ball over. They protected the ball. They were not disrupted. And I thought the Blazers played with pace, and I thought they played with aggression, but clearly without Wesley, without Matisse, without having those guys who have kind of been their defensive talismans, and the depth issues now in the backcourt. No Dame, obviously, for the season. Tease out. Blake Wesley, right before the game, it was announced that Wesley will miss 8 to 12 weeks after having surgery on his 5th metatarsal in his right foot. So hopefully Blake comes back and it's good to go. But
love when you say 5th metatarsal.
There you go. It's a stupid bone in the top of your foot that you really can't do anything with. So there you go. There's the official press release. The rehab process sucks because you're in a boot and you can't do anything with it until that bone heals. But once it gets better, you can start kind of working your way back. But you've got both Blake Wesley and Scoot Henderson on the shelf with lower body injuries. Scoot Henderson with the hamstring, Blake with the foot, where they can't do anything. So the ramp-up time, you're probably looking at getting 2 of your guards that are part of your rotation Christmas or later. So I think you saw stylistically them be a little bit different. They were still aggressive, but it wasn't picking up at 85 feet over and over and over again. They were more judicious with their pickup points. They were more judicious with their full court press. I don't think coming into the Laker game, the Blazers led the NBA in the number of possessions they had pressed. It was almost 25%. That number's going to come down.
Is that Thunder specific, or is that we have to adjust because of our personnel?
I think there's a slight adjustment. Now, Tiago Splitter, I asked him about that in the pregame, and he said, we're not going to change who we are. We're not going to adjust kind of who we are because we don't really know totally who we are yet. The guys don't really know how to play
8 games
this way.
into the season.
But I asked him about some rotations and when shots aren't falling and opportunities aren't presenting themselves, do you consider changing some things up in the game? And he's like, it takes a lot to build what we have, and we can't go to making those changes too early. We can't take guys out of the rotation or put guys in the rotation or mess up rotations right now just because, we're injured. Now, when you get down the road a little bit, you might have to take a look at that, but there was a couple things tonight from Tiago that I really liked, specifically Duop Reith. We got him in the podium. WAP was incredible. He got an early run and wasn't really capable or able to do anything because with the way the Blazers run their offense, it is your big, which is typically one of Rob, Hansen, or Donovan, who are more traditional bigs. Now, Hansen can step out and possibly shoot, but they operate on the baseline of the dunker spot. So you're basically looking 4 to 5 feet each side of the paint for those little dump-off passes, whether it's Jrue driving, Deni driving. And I saw WAP running that baseline box over and over and over again. I'm sitting there watching OKC not care because WAP's not a threat. He's not a lob threat. He's not a vertical threat. But then Tiago does something that I thought was a little bit different and interesting. He puts Donovan Clingan on the floor and puts WAP at the 4. And now WAP's running the corners. Now he's sliding deeper into the corner and popping up. And all of a sudden, open 3, open 3, open 3. And now you start to see that Thunder defense open up, which we didn't see against the Lakers because they packed the paint so much.
Well, the Blazers did have 30 more points from 3 tonight than they did against the Lakers, and they made it at 44%.
Yeah, you shoot over 40% from 3 on 40 on over 40 attempts, you're gonna have a pretty productive night.
You do that, the Thunder without 3 of their top guys, and still it came down to the very last moment.
They're good
against the Thunder. It's a really good basketball team the Blazers beat tonight. Danny, sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time?
Not all the time.
Just sometimes.
Sometimes. You got to go big.
How big?
I'm talking the triple bonus Jack combo. That's 3 juicy beef patties, 3 slices of melty American cheese, shredded lettuce, pickles, and Jack's secret sauce. There's that music on a toasted bun. Plus fries and a drink. You can order right now on the Jack in the Box app. 3 times the beef, 3 times the flavor.
It's wonderful.
It is. You know what it's about?
What's it about?
It's about people. Another great night for Rip City.
No, nothing.
You know who's all about people? You're supposed to say the next line.
Oh, I thought we were doing that tomorrow.
No, we're doing it now. It's okay.
Bad.
Dick Hanna Subaru. From your very first visit to your very first drive, they're focused on making a difference for you and your community.
That's when they say, believe in nice.
Dick Hanna Subaru. It's not just about cars. It's about people. All right, it's time for a deep dive into a shallow topic. Real quick. Real quick. It's Trend BA. Just real quick.
We're just winging it.
Hey, we'll get there. Only 8 games in.
Oh, what are we doing?
It's Bill Walton's birthday.
Professionals.
73 years
Speaking
young.
of professionals, look at that.
Yeah. Gone too soon.
Little headband.
Love Bill. I think the thing that I always think about Bill Walton is if anyone wants to make the case that Bill Walton is the greatest Blazer of all time, I have no issue with that argument. I have no issue with that argument. Man won an MVP.
Yeah, he
Blazers
also
have
won
one
the only
championship.
title. He was the best player on that team.
And he was the MVP of that finals.
He was really good.
Bill Walton was a supernova, and look at that. If you want to say he's the greatest Blazer of all time, I have no issue with it. Obviously, a huge cultural figure in broadcasting, 6th Man of the Year in Boston, and just a beloved raconteur late in life.
Have you ever been to a volcano? Just absolutely fantastic. Having to broadcast with that man had to be both an absolute pleasure and just the most dire of circumstances.
Well, it's so funny because and you see him with Pash there.
Yeah.
But the kids out there, everyone's excited about the Bill Walton was on the A team with Snapper for years on
Yes.
NBC. Bill Walton, he wasn't a by-the-book broadcaster, but he was way more conventional in the 90s than he turned out to be later in his life.
No, that period with Snapper, it was throw it down, big man, throw
right.
it down.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most animated you got out of him. But he was more, now we're dating ourselves, he was more younger John Madden. And then his late career,
Sure.
he was crazy John Madden.
Yeah.
Well, he's going here, and then boom, touchdown.
Sound effects,
yeah,
the whole thing.
All the things.
Yeah.
So, no, that's just kind of the nature of Bill Walton. And, his legacy will always be one of those things that lives forever in Portland. And, it's cool that no matter what, he's going to be remembered. He's always going to be a part of everything. I thought it was cool when we had the Bill Walton night last year that, they did it when the Detroit Pistons were in town, so Luke, his son, could be there. And they had the entire Walton crew up in a suite, and there was like 40 of them. I was like, oh, there's a lot of Waltons.
Yeah.
A lot of Waltons out there.
Sure. Rest in power, Bill.
There you go.
Love you, buddy.
A lot of ayahuasca.
You know what? The right amount to expand one's mind.
See, right?
How about that?
And a family.
Your Blazers are 5-3. They just knocked off the Oklahoma City Thunder. I want to go to Donovan Clingan because he's had an interesting season so far. He's had some peaks, probably one really, really solid offensive game.
I would say one really solid game in general.
Sure. But, the floor for the rebounding and defense is certainly a lot higher than it is for the offense.
Sure.
But the other night against the Lakers, tonight against the Thunder, didn't look the same as what we saw in the first half dozen games.
No.
Do you attribute that to DA and Hartenstein, or do you attribute that to something else?
I attributed him to being tired. I asked a couple guys on.
You're always on this
row.
alert for DC. What is it about him specifically?
You can see it wane, and because he's so big. He if you are a Blazers fan and you get to go to a game, just come down to as close as you can get to the floor when DC's warming up, so you can
Say
see
you know Deni Marang.
Don't do that. They will send you out. It doesn't work for you. Trust me. People are like, oh, no, I don't know him. No, that's not going to do you any favors. No, but DC, he is certainly in better shape, but he is so massive that better shape does not necessarily mean that he can go up and down the floor at the second fastest pace in the NBA. To be fair, nobody at that size is able to play long stretches and give the effort necessary to be a rim protector and go 90 feet end, and be productive. That's why you see his minutes down. It's not that he's bad. It's just that it's, and again, I asked Splitter about this as far as like how things change. And he said, we got to keep things shorter. We got to keep the stints shorter for not just Donovan, but for everybody. Because in order to play at this pace, to play at this level, to play at this level of aggressiveness, it takes a lot. He pointed out, if you're one of them ones, he pointed out at 22-year-old Russell Westbrook. If you're him, sure, you can play extended run and play extended minutes because you're a freak of freaks and that's what you can do. But also on top of that, you can see when he gets tired because he can't rebound out of his area. Or if he gets a hand on the ball, he won't get the second hand on the ball and really secure it. It's the little things. And I think he's just trying to find those. Like, he ended tonight okay, but when you and I were talking, how many rebounds should he have had tonight?
12?
Yeah, 12, 14. And again, I'm not trying to kill the guy.
He had 8.
Yeah, but there was that one possession where
Yes.
OKC, I think they ended up getting 3 offensive rebounds, and every single one of them hit his hand. And you're sitting there going, Gotta get your mitts on that big fella.
But you say how big he is,
job.
and I get that. But is there a corollary, either present day NBA or the NBA from the past, that you've seen a player Donovan's size, where there's a comp of that size? Because, okay, Hartenstein, for example, tonight. How much bigger is DC than Hartenstein? Because he played 31 minutes, seemed to be more active. I know he's a veteran. He's done this a lot longer.
Yeah, Hartenstein's 6'9.5", 6'10".
Okay, so Donovan is in literally a different height and weight class.
Donovan is one of the biggest dudes in the entire league.
Okay.
He's a legitimate 7.
So again, so he played 25 minutes tonight. What can he, when he ramps up and he is what he is, he's a fully completed, sculpted project.
I think this is what it is, 25 to 28. I think that's especially playing at this pace. So
sure, and you make the point at that pace, but when you become a veteran, can't you learn to sag back, or because this is the way the Blazers play, there is nothing like that available?
You can save that a little bit, but so I can't remember the exact number because I looked this up. I want to say 2 or 2 years ago. I think it was Donovan's rookie, or so, like a year and a half. I think it was since 71, 72. It might have been 76, 78, like post-merger, or 76. But there were only 14 instances of players 7'2" or taller who played more than 30 minutes a game. So I shouldn't say 14 instances. There's 14 players. The players in that group were Kareem, Mark Eaton, Wemby. Who else was on that list? I can't remember now. But it was like the guys that are just freaks of freaks.
Yeah.
When you get 7'2" or taller, you're already in a class of human that doesn't exist on the planet. You were a unicorn at that point. Like you're just that big. So the capacity to do that. Jokic is not that tall.
Is Young that big?
Hansen's 7'1". So
Okay.
but he's right on the cusp of that. But I don't think he's ever going to be a 30-minute-a-night guy. But it's when you're that big, you just can't. It just doesn't. It doesn't happen, especially when you're talking about playing at this pace. Jokic does because he's a Terminator. Like he's just different. Wemby does because he only weighs 245 pounds, but he's also 7'5". But that or 7'6" if we're being honest. But DC is 280 pounds and 7'3", and he's not this Chet Holmgren. You know, he's not this sinewy, light, explosive on his feet. He's a lumberer. DC. You were a big lumbering dude.
Yeah.
You were just a monster human. The only guy that's on that list who was capable of doing it but played at a very different era, who's actually bigger, is Mark Eaton. And that's who I think Donovan reminds me of. Donovan is
really
very
good
Mark
comparison.
Eaton-esque. Not only is he an enormous white guy, but he's a shot-blocking, rebounding dude who doesn't really score. Like that's what he is.
That is what Donovan is going to be. I mean, that's what he is.
Yeah.
But Mark Eaton is, okay, maybe you're getting to an all-star level of those things.
Yeah.
Like, can you maximize the
Be
rebounding?
the best defensive and offensive rebounder in the league. And for those that need a little history lesson, Mark Eaton was the best shot blocker in the NBA for about 5 years.
Had a Chris Kaman aesthetic.
Oh, yeah. A cross between Kaman and Bill Walton, to be honest. Which, again, Donovan.
It's true.
Beard game. Lead into the Mark Eaton. Like, grow it down.
You really want the beard to happen.
Look, man, I'm going to give Justin Verrier from The Ringer a shout-out. He is a fellow UConn guy. And I go, Donovan got blocked. And I was like, come on, man. You get your guy? He's like, it's rough. He goes, he's got a great beard. So the beard game's growing. Like, people are respecting Donovan's beard.
As they should, and they should respect everything about him. Jeremy Grant had 20 points again. It's kind of amazing.
His rim finishing has been
He's been
unreal.
really good.
Unreal, which is funny.
And again, the defensive side of it has been really impressive as well. It's not like he's just selling out on offense and not getting back defensively.
6 of 14. He started 1 of 6 from the field.
And he had 5 assists as well, 5 rebounds. Like he's filling up the stat sheet.
He's just finding ways to do it. He finds a block, he finds an assist. Tonight he was 20 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. Like, if you want to keep him there on the bench, fine. I think they should move him into the starting lineup so they aren't having to dig themselves out of these holes, which has been almost every single first shift of a game. Have you through the first 8 games? How many times have they been great in that first 6-minute shift? Not even great, good.
A couple.
And it's like you have to squint to see it.
You do have to squint to see it. I am curious when that first substitution either changes. Not necessarily the personnel, but how quickly it comes. It seems to come really quick.
It comes sooner and sooner and sooner.
And tonight it was exacerbated because it was such a quick lead for the Thunder, and that first quarter, that took a minute to get through.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big part of it. But I am curious to see long term. There's always this check-in on, Shea and Jeremy and kind of how that looks. They're 5-3. They've beaten some good teams.
Yeah.
I don't know why you mess with it.
It's kind of funny, one of their losses to a Lakers team that was missing everybody, and I think they just overlooked them more than anything.
Sure.
But now they're
tough not to with the Thunder coming in.
Yeah, and which you can't. With the Thunder come in, it doesn't matter that Chet doesn't go, that Lou Dort doesn't go, that Jay Will doesn't go, or J-Dub doesn't go. It's still the reigning champions. They still have an MVP. They still have Isaiah Joe. They still have Andrew Wiggins. They still have so many guys.
And if you watch that team, that team played a good basketball game tonight.
They did. I mean,
Portland just beat them.
That's a championship team. But now the Blazers are going to go out on the road. And, we talked about this a little bit heading into the season. The Blazers' first 15 games is brutal. I think they right now have the number 2 strength of record in the NBA. Like, who they've played has just been brutal. So
yeah, this road trip maybe doesn't look as hard as it did when the season started, because you're going to Miami,
which is always,
that's always tricky for a variety of reasons.
Yeah. I wonder, do they get there Friday night?
Boy, 5 p.m. tip there locally. And then they go to Orlando, who's kind of a dumpster fire.
And
they're
honestly,
predicted to be the second best team in the East, and they're not looking like that right
well,
now.
The Blazers won't say it, but the win they had against the Magic last year, that's the blueprint of who they want to be. Do you remember when they beat the brakes out of the Magic?
Yeah.
Or off the Magic, I should say. That's who they want to be. That's the team that they want to be, is to be that kind of disruptive, physical, run you out of the gym team. And when the shots fall, which you saw through quarters 2, 3, and 4 tonight, not in the first, that's kind of an interesting spot to see where this kind of comes up from. But also Orlando still has Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane. Like, they
got guys.
If Orlando figures something out, that's going to be a difficult game. But also, that game could be the rockiest of rock fights you've ever seen, with two teams that struggle to shoot, who want to be physical and play defense and grind you down. That could be a game that's like Pistons Spurs in the finals kind of a deal, where you're just like, oh, this is miserable basketball.
It's a 5-game road trip, and okay, we're going to hold that thought because we have the tweet of the night.
Oh, there we go.
We got to get the tweet of the night in. Where is it?
Oh, look at that.
Oh, there it is.
Wop said in the post game that
two of our greatest players.
You just throw it up sometimes, and it's kind of a heave, and but hitting the shrug, it's always frustrating seeing Uncle Cliffy in the background.
He earned it.
Yeah, it's like can't we AI that out of there? Can't we just have Jordan shrugging on a crowd?
I mean, it's in the finals.
I know, but
Cliffy's being bummed. It's not like this is in January.
That makes it worse.
He's at the pinnacle.
I know, it makes it worse.
Of the sport. It probably does. Yeah. So 5-game road trip, Miami, Orlando. Okay. Then you got New Orleans.
Dumpster fire.
They won 2 straight.
Yeah.
And then you got Houston. Okay. That's a tough game. And then Dallas, who's
dumpster fire.
And then you got Phoenix. I mean, you start to map out the schedule a little bit. It does get it does get tougher when you come home. I'm looking at that now. Golden State, Oklahoma City, Milwaukee, San Antonio. I'm just reading teams on television. That's not very fun. So the Blazers get a couple days off.
Which they need.
And they're in the, what do we call it in Florida, Dan? We got the double feature in California, the Texas two-step.
We got to come up with something from Florida. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. We'll save it, and we'll open
Here we go.
Saturday's show with that. But for now, celebrate, Rip City. Call late for work tomorrow. Don't show up to that 8 o'clock meeting. You got some celebrating to do. Blazers win. Blazers win. They're 5-3. I saw you out there questioning Master Splitter. Not so bad now. They were